Welcome to Cord Cutting Today, where we break down some of the biggest stories happening in the world of cord cutting, including today, Amazon's removing a relatively new feature from Fire TVs over a security risk issue. We'll tell you what that is and why that's important. Free 4K over-the-air television is now available with ATSC 1.0, not 3.0. We'll tell you what's happening here. And Disney Plus will start enforcing its password crackdown very soon. What does this mean for you? And more coming up in a quick second. If you want to learn more about any of these stories and all the others I'm about to talk about, check out the show notes down below and in the first pinned comment. I'll put a link to each story there so you can read them for yourself and come up with your own opinions. I'd love to hear from you. If you're new here, do me a big favor, hit that subscribe button, hit that thumbs up, let YouTube know you enjoy what we do here so YouTube recommends our videos to more people, helping us grow and hopefully helping you break free from the high cost of television, but still enjoy the shows you like to watch. So let's dive into it. A few weeks ago, or maybe a month or so ago now, Amazon rolled out an ability for you to quickly connect your Fire TV to your phone or tablet and use it to type in passwords, use as a remote, which is really nice. You know, entering passwords on the on-screen keyboard is okay, voice is okay, but maybe I don't want to publicly say out loud what my password is with a voice. But using a keyboard for a tablet or a phone is a lot easier to enter passwords. So Amazon made this way you could scan a QR code, bring up a keyboard on your device, and what you typed on your phone or tablet would appear on your Fire TV, which is really nice. It also worked as a backup remote, which was a nice feature. But some researchers discovered a potential security issue that will allow people to access your Fire TV without needing your password or more and control what happens on your Fire TV. So Amazon's temporarily removed this as they look at other options. Now the good news is you can still do this feature, but you need to download an app to do it. The Amazon Fire TV app on Android and iOS and others allows you to connect to your Fire TV, but it requires a username and password to log in and connect to your Fire TV. That security there allows you to protect your account as long as you're not reusing passwords, and prevent this from happening. Now, Amazon has not said if it's coming back or not. In the statement sent to Cord Cutters News, this is Amazon told us, "We appreciate the work of independent researchers to help bring the issues to our attention. While we're still reviewing this research, we immediately disabled the QR code feature for the Fire TV customers, which fully migrates the scenario described by the researchers. We look forward to bringing this feature back to our customers." So they look forward to bringing it back. So they do intend to. Now, this was first spotted by AFTV News, who are talked to the researchers and got some great information. Link in our story down below. But as with all things, these are always a real risk. Now, again, you can still use your phone as a keyboard, but you need to use the app, which requires a login. The QR code did not. Using the QR code would allow you to directly control your Fire TV without a password. So that's the big difference there. Hopefully they can find a workaround for this. Honestly, if you think you're going to use this a lot, maybe download the Fire TV app. All right, one of the big selling points of ATSC 3.0, the new next-gen standard for over-the-air television with an antenna, was the ability someday to get 4K. Hasn't happened yet. No 4K 3.0 transmissions are happening commercially to regular users. But there's a station now in Oregon, Eugene, Oregon, that is allowing 4K over-the-air television on 1.0, the current standard. They have multiple 4K. Now the Antenna Man, which I think Tyler, he's renamed his channel, I apologize. Leave me a comment, remind me. Antenna Man now, Tyler Tech, something like that. Leave me a comment, let me know. But he interviewed the station owner who says by changing the type of codec, the encoding that they use on their broadcasts, they can now do 4K over 1.0 standard. Now, a few things here with this. Most newer TVs in the last 10 years have this, so you'll be able to use it. Some older TVs who are older than 10 years may not be able to see this 4K. Very likely, honestly, that those TVs aren't even 4K, but there may be a very small fraction of very early 4K televisions who can't view this because they don't have the right codec. Now, that raises the question about why are other television stations not becoming 4K and 1.0 standard? And it's a cost thing. As they upgrade to 3.0, they don't want to also spend money to upgrade their 1.0 signal because there's certain hardware and software changes needed to be made to make this possible. Because of that, they are unable a lot of stations are unable to justify the cost. They're saying, hey, we're going to invest in 3.0. We see that as the future, not redoing our 1.0 standard. Now, it's a tough thing because one of the biggest selling points for 3.0 has been the fact that it has 4K, where 1.0 didn't. Well, now the 1.0 current standard does. So what does this all mean? It's a lot of technical jargon. In short, the old standard HD television you're used to getting with an antenna can actually be 4K if television stations spend the time to make it 4K in that standard. Now 3.0 someday will be able to do it. It also comes with things like DRM and other issues that people have been very unhappy with. So we'll have to keep a close eye on this, but 1.0 4K, for the first time, 4K free over-the-air television is widely available in at least one major or one significant U.S. city, Eugene, Oregon. All right, Disney Plus last year announced Disney, across all of its streaming services, announced a plan to crack down on password sharing. Netflix did this, was very successful, not only in cracking down on password sharing, but getting people to switch to paid services who were previously sharing their Netflix account. Disney Plus has been testing this in Canada, and now Disney says coming in June, they will start rolling this out to more countries to crack down on password sharing, and in September, it will continue to roll out to even more countries. Unknown if the United States is coming in June or September or later, we don't know. But basically, Disney's going to start monitoring people who are routinely, for example, if you're in Michigan, but at the same time you're streaming in Michigan, somebody's always streaming in California or Florida or maybe just a different city. They're going to start monitoring that and cracking down on that to prevent people from sharing Disney Plus accounts, Hulu accounts, and the like. Why do this? Well, in short, these services are not profitable for Disney yet. We're trying to make them profitable, and there's probably more people than you would believe who are sharing passwords, and that's a significant cut into their profit. So Disney's looking at cracking down on that. We'll have to wait for the exact details when it comes to the United States because it's always subject to change in how they do it. But Disney will be cracking down on password sharing later this year. In more countries, I should say. All right, the Babylon 5 reboot, one of the most popular sci-fi shows of the 90s, had a very successful direct-to-DVD and streaming rental and purchase deal, anime movie recently. Well, it's since 2021, they've been talking about a reboot, originally slated for the CW, but then the CW network was sold to new owners. And then it was put up for shopping, but then the strikes happened and things delaying it. Well, now that the strikes are over, and according to the Babylon 5 creator, now that the potential Paramount-Warner Bros. Discovery merger is dead, Warner Bros. Has started to shop around Babylon 5. Now, apparently one network has already turned them down. Other networks are actively considering it. It'll be interesting to see if this is picked up, if it's picked up by a cable network, or if it's picked up by a service like Netflix or Amazon Prime or something that brings Babylon 5 back. This, again, is another one of those pushes to bring back well-known shows that are successful. Hulu's bringing back King of the Hill. The list goes on and on. Why are so many companies willing to bring back old ones rather than develop new shows? And it's a cost thing. Making television has never been more expensive. I think I read somewhere that early Game of Thrones episodes were significantly cheaper than the later ones. The new reboots are like 10 times more expensive to produce now than they were back then. Cost of special effects, actors, materials. Let's just talk about gas, wood, food. All these things that go into make television shows are much more expensive than they were. And when you're looking at just the general cost of things being significantly higher, you could take a risk on making a new show, and maybe one in every 4 or 5 or 6, I don't know the exact numbers, will become very successful. Or you could take something like Babylon 5, King of the Hill, that was very successful, has a very loyal fan base, reboot it, and then relaunch it as another TV station, either as a complete redo or as a continuation in the case of King of the Hill, for example. That will allow them to go and be able to make these very successful. Now, big question here. Will this be successful? Will this be picked up? We don't know. But increasingly, many TV networks are looking at these reboots as a safer bet in a world where these are very expensive to make at the moment. Everything, let's just be honest, everything in 2024 is a lot more expensive than it was 5-10 years ago. And that's impacting television too, and that's why they're investing in it. And in a day and age when they're losing a lot of money in streaming and trying to make streaming profitable, they're being a little bit more cautious of what television shows they bring back. So we'll keep a very close eye at it. But let me know, are you excited for a Babylon 5 reboot? I am. I love the show. I'm excited for a King of Hill reboot also. All right, Fubo subscribers, you may lose the new Sportsnet New York SNY network. It's a regional sports network that I believe offers the Mets, if I'm remembering correctly. Over the weekend, the Mets on SYN during a Mets game started running a banner warning that Fubo will soon drop the network. These are often tactics when negotiations are happening on both sides. Now, we reached out to Fubo. They did not respond to our request for comment on this. The Nets are just saying Fubo and them have a contract coming up for renewal and that Fubo may drop them. We'll see how this plays out. But Fubo's big selling point in sports is specifically RSNs. They start dropping RSNs, it's trouble. But they also don't want to overpay for it. They got to pay what they consider to be a fair price, so they don't have to raise your price every time a station wants more money. We'll keep a close eye on this. No date for exactly when the deadline is for these two sides to reach a deal is right now. If we find out more, we'll post more over at CoreCarsNews.com. Pluto TV and Paramount Plus will now be the new home of King of Queens, the hit show with all 9 seasons now streaming free on Pluto TV and through Paramount Plus, which is great if you're a Paramount Plus commercial-free customer. You can watch it commercial-free over there. And last note, Bob Iger, during an interview with CNBC, the CEO of Disney, was asked about bundling Disney Plus with other services like Netflix and Max. And he said he's not opposed to the idea, which is something some of the investors who have been actively trying to kind of take over some of the board have been saying they want to see Disney be more aggressive in bundling their streaming services with others. We've seen this with other companies, bundled deals. You get 2 or 3 services together, you get a discount, much like the Disney Plus bundle with Hulu and ESPN Plus as an example. Maybe we could see very soon Netflix, Disney Plus, and Paramount Plus or something all bundled together. If you subscribe to all 3, maybe you'll get a tiny discount. That's the big catch there. Who's taking the loss on that? Disney says, hey, maybe, we get our full price, but Netflix and Hulu get, or Netflix and Paramount Plus or whoever get a little bit less. That'll be the argument always with these. We'll have to keep a close eye on them. Okay, quick question of the day. I get a lot of questions. I answer some in the comments. I answer some here. If you have a question you want me to answer, leave me a comment. Start off with something like a question for Luke. If I don't answer your question, please re-ask it, because sometimes I'm busy answering another question or I just didn't see it. I'll love to answer your question, so re-ask. But in 2024, what are your internet options? Now, a lot of people go out there and they're stuck with, or they think they're stuck with just cable as an internet option. In 2024, there's a lot more options. Shop around. Spend a little bit. I always tell Core Cars this. Every year, spend 20 minutes, maybe go on your neighborhood Facebook group or your Nextdoor app or whatever you use, and ask people, hey, what internet provider are you using? Take some time and consider other internet options where you are. Starlink is actually not a bad option for cord cutting for many people. Verizon and T-Mobile and AT&T and others now have a 5G home internet service. Tested these out, worked great for most services. YouTube TV, Netflix, Hulu, and the like, we had no problems with. We were able to fully stream everything we wanted on them. Take your time, shop around. I think you'd be surprised what's available out there right now. Well, there you go. There are my recommendations. Check out those, of course. Also look for fiber options. I know where I live, currently AT&T is the fiber provider, but there's a new company coming into our neighborhood that's offering fiber options there. They're starting to tear up the streets to do that, but that'll be a second fiber. So I'm going to have a cable internet service, a fiber service, a second fiber service, and a 5G home internet service to pick from where I live. That's not even counting things like Starlink to consider. So shop around. I think you'd be surprised. A lot of people just assume they don't have other options. And in 2024, you may be amazed to find out what options you really have. That's it for today. Take care. Be safe. I'll be back again real soon.